The scoreboard said 79-79, but every eyeball in Wintrust Arena was glued to the huddle, not the hoops. 23 anxious seconds glowed on the shot clock when Angel Reese, Chicago's self-styled Bayou Barbie, fresh from a 22.15 rebound blitz, stormed off the hardwood and boom! Reese sent an assistant coach's clipboard flying across the paint. The slap echoed louder than the PA, and for a heartbeat, the entire WNBA froze. In that instant, Reese didn't merely shatter acrylic, she blew a hole in the paper-thin wall separating competitive fire from flat-out chaos. By the time the buzzer finally tolled in Washington's favor, the clip had ripped through TikTok, X, and YouTube, racking 6+ million views before the post-game showers could run cold. Everyone was suddenly asking the same question. Was this the birth of the league's boldest icon, or the first tremor of a star on the verge of self-destruct? Keep that riddle in your back pocket, because the next 10 minutes will pull you through the meltdowns, money moves, and moral gray zones that make Angel Reese the WNBA's most combustible headline machine. Buckle up. This story doesn't just score points. It body checks tradition, rattles sponsors, and dares the league office to pick a side. July 8th, 2025. Fourth game of a grueling road swing. The Mystics had just been gifted 2 free throws on what Reese swore was softer than microwaved ice cream contact. As the ref's whistle squealed, frustration that had been simmering for weeks finally erupted. Reese marched to the sideline, and when strength and conditioning guru Ann Crosby lifted her playbook of last resort, Angel slapped it clean from her grasp. No hesitation, no filter, pure kinetic fury. National cameras caught every microsecond, social feeds detonated before Crosby's marker even hit the floor. Chicago fans groaned, critics salivated, and stands leapt to declare passion the new synonym for outburst. Even Reese's mid-huddle apology attempt couldn't hush the discourse. Crosby waved her off, no harm, no foul, yet the image refused to die. Overnight, hashtags Team Clipboard and Free Angel duked it out while ESPN re-aired the smack on an infinite loop. The league office? Radio silence. No fine, no tech, no suspension, not even the dreaded conduct detrimental memo. For some, that non-response screamed favoritism. For others, it whispered marketing genius. Either way, every WNBA pundit had fresh oxygen, and Angel Reese had just stamped her brand onto a brand new controversy. But the slap was only Act 2. For Act 1, we need to rewind 48 hours to a podium, a microphone, and the 4-letter rant that proved fines are cheaper than airtime.
2 nights earlier, the sky fell 80-75 to Minnesota. Reese, livid over just 2 free throw attempts through 3 quarters, unloaded on the refs.
We ask about contact and she says that's not her job? I don't give a damn if I get fined, that shit cheap.
She snapped, every syllable tailor-made for virality. For context, a WNBA game check barely dents Reese's endorsement stack. Between NIL carryovers, a Reebok signature shoe, and an NBA 2K26 cover deal, a fine is lunch money. So each rant becomes a calculated investment. 1 spicy quote, 6-figure eyeballs, sponsor clicks, brand equity. Reese knows the math. So does the league. Her critics argue the ref baiting is poisoning the locker room vibe. Her defenders insist she's simply demanding the respect male stars get nightly. Either way, Reese has weaponized outrage into currency, and the penalty ledger can't keep pace with the profit column. Still, no feud fattens the algorithm like a rivalry that started on a college court and refuses to die. Flashback to April 2023, LSU versus Iowa for the national crown. Angel flashed, "You can't see me," then pointed to her ring finger, and women's hoops was never the same. Fast forward to May 17th, 2025. Opening weekend, Fever vs. Sky, Clark vs. Reese, 2.7 million viewers, the most watched WNBA regular season game ever on ESPN. Clark dropped a triple-double, Reese snagged 17 boards, the internet devoured every screenshot like popcorn. When Clark bruised her hip 3 weeks later, league ratings dipped 55%. Reese did her best to keep the embers glowing. 1 podium rant, 1 clipboard KO, but the pattern was obvious. The WNBA's new economy runs on dual-star polarity. Take away either magnet and the needle wobbles. Some pundits even claim Reese needs Clark's squeaky clean foil to justify her own heel turn. Without that contrast, the villain-hero narrative collapses, and so does engagement. Whether that's savvy or cynical depends on who's counting clicks. But off-court currency doesn't always translate to harmonious locker rooms, and Chicago's bench has begun to feel the heat. When former NFL QB RG3 mused that Reese harbors animosity toward Clark, Angel's mom clapped back on X within 15 minutes, calling the rumor lazy clickbait. The spat dragged in civil rights icon Bernice King, who publicly urged both players to meet privately for the good of the game. Meanwhile, anonymous Sky texts leaked to Yahoo described a "don't poke the bear" vibe around timeouts. One vet joked that the equipment manager now packs emergency clipboards the way trainers carry ice packs. Coach Tyler Marsh straddles the tightrope. Defend your all-star, but keep the rest of the roster from tiptoeing on eggshells. The official line is unity. The body language on the bench sometimes whispers otherwise. And every fresh leak feeds the algorithm that keeps Reese untouchable. Still, chemistry issues might be tolerated if the W column glowed greener. It doesn't. Chicago's record sagged to 6-13, 5th in the East and sinking fast. Management's patience? Thinner than that shattered clipboard. General Manager Jeff Pagliocca told reporters production must match leadership, executive code for grow up or pack up. Insiders swear front office whiteboards already sketch hypothetical send-offs. Vegas dangles late first-rounders, Dallas whispers a package around Veronica Burton and cap space, but moving a star who sells jerseys faster than the team store can restock isn't simple. Reese isn't only Chicago's leading rebounder, she's a walking engagement spike. Trade her and you risk both an on-court void and a marketing crater. Keep her and the next tantrum might rip the locker room in half. One thing is certain, rival GMs are lurking like bargain hunters outside a Black Friday Best Buy, waiting for Pagliocca to mark down the price. Whether Chicago blinks before season's end will hinge on ticket sales versus team morale, and on Reese's ability to channel fury into double-doubles instead of viral outbursts.
Remember Liz Cambage's 2022 elbow fiasco? One-game ban, league-wide tut-tuts, story buried in a week. Today, a clipboard slap makes national news because the WNBA's viewership has finally breached mainstream radar, and controversy is jet fuel. Insiders admit discipline has become a cost-benefit spreadsheet, weigh backlash from casual fans against engagement spikes from social media diehards. When the spike outweighs the backlash, expect a quiet memo and 0 lost minutes. Reese's slap ticked that exact equation. No wonder the punishment was a polite shrug. Even refs appear caught in the optics tug-of-war. Blow the whistle on a star, risk trending, #do your job. Swallow it, and opposing coaches rage. Either way, discourse blossoms, eyeballs multiply, streaming revenues swell. The economy of outrage prints money until it doesn't. Angel's social vault already includes a Reebok sneaker line and the forthcoming NBA 2K26 cover. First solo WNBA athlete to grace it. Sales teams credit her polarizing magnetism. Haters and stands buy merch with equal fervor. Every meltdown pumps her follower count, which in turn inflates CPM rates for sponsored posts. One marketing exec whispered that Reese's one demean at the podium generated more impressions than a month of polished highlight clips. Outrage is sticky, highlight reels are scrollable, and brands eager for Gen Z loyalty don't mind a little turbulence if the jet still lands in profitable territory. Of course, that calculus assumes the jet never actually crashes. Too many scandals and sponsors bail faster than fans can mash unfollow. Reese is balancing on a razor's edge, one that can cut endorsements as quickly as it lands them. Circle July 19 on your calendar. All-Star game in Indianapolis. Clark captaining one squad, Reese almost certainly anchoring the other. Both women could generate more Nielsen points in one weekend than an entire postseason did 5 years ago. But every camera will also hunt for micro expressions, hip checks, and potential handshake snubs. The slightest spark could ignite another media inferno. Then comes the next Sky Fever showdown. Clark's home floor, Reese's reputation on trial. One graceful box out could reset her storyline. One stray elbow might confirm her critics' worst prophecies. And hovering over it all is the unspoken threat of a mid-season trade that could redraw the league map overnight. The gravity of each game now stretches beyond wins and losses. It tests whether the WNBA can juggle explosive personalities without blowing up its newfound momentum, and whether Angel Reese can harness volcanic energy into rings, not ruptures. Conclusion: star or supernova? Angel Reese rebounds like the ball insulted her lineage. She finishes through contact the way legends finish legacies. But talent without temper is a glitter-lined grenade, and every slap, rant, or viral scowl ticks down the fuse. Maybe she forces the league to beef up its rulebook, maybe she forces her way to a super team, or maybe, just maybe, the next shattered clipboard becomes a metaphor for a career that cracks under the weight of its own spectacle. Until then, remember, in today's WNBA, the scoreboard crowns the winner, but the algorithm crowns the storyline. So when that next Sky timeout hits, ask yourself, are we watching a champion forging her legend or a supernova in slow motion? Either way, don't blink.